Thank you, friends, Shabbat Shalom, and greetings to you all. We're less than a week from the most traveled time of the year, the U.S. Thanksgiving holiday. If it's still called Thanksgiving, I'm not sure anymore. It seems holidays keep changing. The days stay, but the name changes. And whatever you call it, it is the time to celebrate family, and I hope you all get to celebrate with family. And for those with no family to celebrate with, you're welcome to come celebrate with me. No one has no family. You may have family you're not close with, or you wish you didn't have, but you do have family. Reach out for them. Call them. Wish them well. Turkey in the straw. Turkey in the straw. Turkey in the hay. Turkey in the hay. Pick 'em up, shake 'em up, any way at all. Hit them with a tune called Turkey in the Straw. Now, you probably have to be a certain age to even remember that tune. It was a classic. And no self-respecting fiddler couldn't play Turkey in the Straw. Now, we're also reminded, with the coming of Thanksgiving, that winter and Christmas are just around the corner. Ooh, winter. And the calling for over 5 feet of lake effect snow in western New York. I'm not ready. Certainly my buddy Einstein isn't either. But there's other great celebratory events at this time of the year, like the birthday of a great philosopher and friend, the dear Baruch. The years fly by and he does not age, he just gets wiser. There's still so much left for him to do, to be. Of course, many years ago, a philosopher named George Santayana wrote, "Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it." Now, it may seem to some that we're on the verge of repeating many bad things. One which comes to mind dates back to Roman times. The Latin word proscriptio was a decree of condemnation, a finger pointing saying so-and-so is an enemy of the state. And they were then to be put on a list to be murdered or banished. Now, there's plenty of talk these days of making such lists again. Talk like that, my friends, brings back too many dark memories. They sentenced me 20 years of board for trying to change the system from within. I'm coming now, coming to reward them. First, we take Manhattan, then we take Berlin. We gotta fight the return of dark days. Let's together to celebrate light and love and family and togetherness. It's a much better alternative. Like when we come together as a group to honor and pray and observe as a community, a collective consciousness of seekers showing faith, any and all faith who can get along together, love, any and all love who can get along together, a true huvura, a fellowship. So we express our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes. Unites us all in this community, house of spirit, Beth Ruach, sharing and bringing light, keeping fear at bay. And even though together we are always individual in our approach, each connecting in his or her or their own way. So once again, please do go ahead and invite everybody physically, digitally, psychically, emotionally, spiritually, to gather and share. From Psalm 133, the Hine Matov, come together. Hine Matov, how good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. 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 Together. We support each other in this community. Let's all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the world. Remember, friends, this is you setting aside just a little bit of sacred space in your own sacred time to honor and converse with whoever, whatever you happen to believe in, because we all believe in something. It's a part of your kavanah. Your intention that you put out to the universe, it's your goodwill. Goodwill and intention are the roots of what you control. Let's take some time now. Let's use that intention. Let's send some of that goodwill, some light healing, out to everyone that needs it. Healing and renewal for everybody. It just floats through space, finding those in need. So send it out for those you know, for the souls and spirits of everybody you love. So think whoever. They need healing and renewal and love or just plain goodwill. Focus on them. Call their names. It's not just for people. It's for pets. It's for the earth. It is the healing of the world. The tikkun olam, that's part of our spiritual genetic makeup. We have to help heal the world. Part of that healing of the world is when we send thoughts and energy for health and renewal and goodwill for everybody. They don't have to be sick. It's for those in our hearts and our minds. Let's all send energy out for the people in need everywhere. Special thoughts and prayers for those who are undergoing surgery or special care or other medical problems. We pray for those who need prayer. We don't have to know them because we want health, recovery, and good life for everybody around us. Everybody, whether we know them or not. For Fern and for Pam, for Doria, for Sandra, for Shelley and Gloria, for Kay and Luke, for Scott and Vi, for Polito, for all those suffering and in need. Let's not forget those familiars of our lives, all of our sacred animal friends everywhere. For everyone you know in need, for the whole world, and for Devora. Friends, it is the kindness, the healing wishes, the goodwill and love we all send out. It just circles the world finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care. Because the world is a world of spirit, and spirit, my friends, never dies. May the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage. Make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body. The renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. We should bear up. Let's all have our spirits renewed, because this is the great prayer for healing, which we call upon God to heal as He is healed before. Misha Berach, may He who blessed, because all healing is a blessing. Let's all send and receive healing and renewal energy, and our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow. Now this week we continue with the family we're now engaged with as we read Chaiya Sarah, Sarah's life. Now what can you say about a reading called Sarah's Life that has nothing to say about Sarah? It's a reminder of the difference between the Hebrew names and Greek or English names. The Hebrew is based on the first few words, while the Greek, and therefore the English, is actually based on a theme. It's very important, especially as you read this week, to remember, this was not a book written in chapters. The decision to insert breaks came probably 1,000 years afterwards. I laid on a dune and looked at the sky. Children were babies and played on the beach. You came up behind me, I saw you go by. You were always so close and still within reach. Sarah, Sarah, whatever made you want to change your mind? Sarah, Sarah, so easy to look at, so hard to define. Now Sarah was hard to define. Sarai, who became Sarah. That's about all we know about her. It's a Hebrew and Egyptian word meaning princess. And so it changed from being our princess, because the I at the end of a word means ours, as in Adonai, our Lord, to the princess, Sarah, a matriarch, a prophetess, a fighter, political ingenue who learned quite quickly, a jealous wife, a protecting mother, a dominant force, and truly the true changing of the guard. As from this point on, a true matriarchy is created. While we pretend ancient Israel and the biblical founders were a patriarchy, in every instance, the woman ruled. Now you read much later in the Bible that nothing should be added, nothing taken away. But in the first 4 readings we know there was much added and much taken away, and this week's no different. This is not history as you're used to reading it, chronologically, with a clear start and a defined end. In this particular reading, it's a perfect example of that. particular reading is obviously not chronological. From the death of Abraham, his other marriage, the search for his son's bride, the order you read was set out for its own purposes, but does not relay the sequence of events in order we read about. Sarah's death and burial, the marriage of Isaac and Rebekah, Abraham marrying Keturah, the death of Abraham, Ishmael's descendants. Most people, if you speak to them, are thoroughly convinced this is the actual order and why even question it? We're used to reading in a certain way. This book keeps reminding us to go outside the box on how we should look at events, lessons, stories. We even read about a fascinating man with no name, but who, if you ask anyone, they'll tell you his name. And he undergoes the first betrothal ritual in the Bible. We see this in the Bible in a fashion we never see again. Genesis 23:1. And Sarah's life was 100 years and 20 years and 7 years. The years of Sarah's life. And Sarah died. And Abraham came to grieve for Sarah and to weep for her. That's it. His wife is dead. He was buried her. He approaches the locals and he buys what ultimately became considered the Tomb of Tombs, without it being one of the great pharaonic tombs. He buys a simple cave, the Cave of Machpelah, Genesis 23:9. That he'll give me the Cave of Machpelah, which he has, that is at the edge of his field. For full price, let him give it to me among you as a possession for a tomb. This cave became the tomb of the patriarchs, with a who's who of early biblical characters, including all the patriarchs and matriarchs. Rumor has it, Adam and Eve also. It can still be visited to this day. It brings not just history, but the Bible itself to life. And it should be universal, open to anyone who wants to go and absorb the energy of it. But unfortunately, it's not. Genesis 24:1. And Abraham was old, well along in days, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in everything. And Abraham said to his servant, the elder of his house, who was in charge of all that he had, place your hand under my thigh. I'll have you swear by the Lord God of the skies and God of the earth, you won't take a wife from my son, from the daughters of the Canaanite among whom I live. But you go to my land and my birthplace. Take a wife from my son, for Isaac. The servant said to him, maybe the woman won't be willing to follow me to this land. Shall I take back your son to the land you came from? Abraham said to him, watch yourself, that you don't take my son back there. And the servant placed his hand under his lord Abraham's thigh and swore to him about this thing. So the servant goes to Abraham's home, not to Ur of the Chaldees, but to Haran. He's a beautiful virgin and engages in a reversed betrothal ritual, and he's going to take her back home to marry Isaac, Abraham's son. Now, normally, and what you see so well with Jacob, and know so well from having watched the Ten Commandments, the male performs the courting ritual, but here it is performed by the female. Everything about this is out of the norm, and this young woman is Abraham's niece, Rebekah. Genesis 24:29. And Rebekah had a brother, and his name was Laban. And Laban ran outside to the man at the spring. Well, we all know Laban too well. A great deceiver we will meet in the weeks ahead. So the betrothal ritual, so well known to the audience, takes place at a well and involves watering sheep, and they're expecting that. That's what they get. But here Rebekah gets water for the servant and then for all his sheep, instead of the male getting it for her. So who is this man? Who's Abraham's servant? Well, you ask most people, they'll tell you his name is Eliezer. But his name's actually never given. There are many parts of the Bible people believe are not written because they are repeated often enough. This is one of them. So why is he here? He made the vow by putting his hand under Abraham's thigh to Abraham that he would come find a wife for Isaac and not bring Isaac here to choose. These eyes watch you bring my world to an end. This heart could not accept and pretend burdens on me. I will never be free. You took a vow with me. Greatly spoken. Words spoken had great weight, my friends. And that vow, always evidenced by the hands under the thighs, was a common deathbed vow, only made when someone was dying. You're going to see it performed again in another couple of weeks. So Abraham's death is now. But as you read the Parsha, you're led to believe his death comes much later, if you take this reading as chronological. And the servant heads off. Rebecca ends up agreeing to marry the person she's never seen before. She'll go back with the servant Isaac. And now we get our first glimpse of the grown Isaac. We last saw him as a boy about to be sacrificed. But here he is, the grown Isaac, a philosopher, a thinker. Genesis 24:63. And Isaac went to meditate in a field towards evening. He raised his eyes and saw it. Here were camels coming. Country boy, like an angel sent. Sit and sing songs for everyone. He was different from any other biblical character we meet. He was named by God. His life-defining moment was thrust upon him. It was never his choice. He was to be sacrificed on an altar. Never went anywhere. We learned very little about him. And the servant recounted to Isaac all the things he had done, and Isaac brought her into the tent of Sarah, his mother, and took Rebekah, his wife, and he loved her, and Isaac was consoled after his mother's death. Isaac missed his mother. He's consoled. He's happy. Now, shouldn't we all be happy? Neither had met the other, but they instantly connected on meeting. Rebekah filled the emotional gap left by Sarah's death, and therefore becomes the new matriarch. Now, as the end of the verse indicates, and with the first matriarch deceased, Rebekah also takes up the role of matriarch in the family. But we learned something important here. Isaac did not marry Rebekah because he loved her. Never met her. Marrying for love is really a much more recent part of society than people realize. Perhaps he loved her because he married her, but even that we do not actually know. What we do discover about their relationship is that they took complete opposite positions on almost everything, especially to do with their twin sons. And the new head of the family, the pater familias, was not Isaac. It was the first biblical feminist, Rebekah, wife of Isaac. She was a strong woman. To some, the role model for Lucretia Borgia. We're then told Abraham marries, Genesis 25:1, and Abraham went on, took a wife, and her name was Keturah. Now she's perhaps the most ignored significant person in the Torah, Abraham's other wife. Now Rashi, the great commentator, follows an old rabbinic idea that she's Hagar. But there's no basis for this in the text, but it does allow us to subscribe to the belief in true love. And it allowed the writers of the Talmud to suggest that Keturah may very well have been the true love of Abraham's life and not his sister Sarah. Now they either took an incredible leap or they had information we no longer have, which I think is certainly the more likely. Now there's no reason to believe that Abraham wasn't married to other women. It was common practice. They didn't wait for the death of a spouse. Much of what we will be shortly reading is the result of family battles between wives and children. Genesis 25:8. And he expired. And Abraham died at a good old age, old and full, and was gathered to his people. And Isaac and Ishmael, the sons, buried him in the cave of Machpelah, the field of Ephraim, son of Zohar the Hittite. The two sons come together not to fight or war, but to bury the father of us all. Yes, my friends, the world's sacred. So as every day, express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom. Be well, be happy, be blessed, share and honor the light. All who live in the light, continue to shine, continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone. An end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we're a community. We learn together. We celebrate each other. We love each other. We share this right together, men and women equally. Let's all send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. Please do learn to forgive and learn to love. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. Take advantage of the time you have and enjoy the journey. We take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our effort to grow, to learn, to be loved. So please do love. Now bless you all. Have a fantastic week, a week of love and light, a week of peace, a week of miracles. Examine your intentions, use them to imprint your will on the universe. We set in motion all that happens in our lives. It is our intention, our kavana, our cause, our effect. Everything's linked. You always have time to forgive and to be forgiven. You have the knowledge of what's good and bad, so acknowledge what you have done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any other person you've wronged. Ask forgiveness. Do so with sincerity, accountability, vulnerability. Forgive those who've hurt you as you learn to be forgiving and be compassionate, because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people in the world just as they are? Can you accept life as it is without trying to control it? If you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. So do not stop your journey. Do not stop moving towards your promised land. Keep on dreaming, keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching. Keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear, follow love. It's always in front of you. And remember to have faith and unwavering adherence to principle. Just as I have faith in the principle of love and of all of you. Act with purity of heart and mind. Despise none, defraud none, hate none, cherish all. Honor every child of God, every creature of the earth. May all people know peace in this year. May you nurture kindness and love everywhere. Work to be present in the body. Expand the heart, quiet the mind, because the deepest source of real power lies in consciousness and the ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all of life's circumstances. Make the most of your time in this life. Continue to touch and transform lives around you, because you're never alone. You're forever blessed and have the ability to bring blessings to everybody you meet. Health, love, and renewal to everybody you come across. We're all energy, and energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be transformed. Your words are your power to transform, to love, to bless, to be generous with them. Bless others, and therefore bless yourself. Love at the heart, because we're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear. Forgiveness, not anger. Be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you whether you know it or not. And continue to explore faith and belief, and never accept shame as a natural state. Whatever you feel others have felt, whatever you've experienced others have too, we share together. We learn together. We each help each other, because we're each of us trying to find love and acceptance and support. We all have or could have that special someone in our lives. Find them. Tell them what they mean. And keep forgiving those who need forgiveness, and keep asking forgiveness from those you need to ask forgiveness of. Remember to think before you speak. We learn valuable things here, friends. We see that there can be a reason to take history and change it. By doing so, the emphasis changes from a continuous story or history to lessons. And sometimes the lessons are more important than the story itself. And what are the lessons here? Love wins. Genesis 25:1, and Abraham went on and took a wife. Her name was Keturah, and she gave birth to Zimran and Joksan and Maiden and Midian and Ishbak and Shuah. Strength is not gender-based. In that unusual telling of the betrothal scene, we see the complete reversal, but with a surrogate. The groom's nowhere to be found, as we see the female as the strong one. Third, forgiveness. The brother who rightfully should have inherited and got nothing, held no grudge, and came to be with his brother, is the first example of the forgiveness ritual being exercised in the Bible. Genesis 24:36, my Lord's wife Sarah gave birth to a son by my Lord in her old age, and he has given him everything that he has. So he gave nothing to his eldest, gave everything to the youngest. Not allowed. Love, individual strength, forgiveness. The lessons of 4,000 years ago. And aren't these the lessons of today? I think so. And you know what? They all stem from love. Oh, can't you see? We were born to by my side. I'm going to be with you. You are going to be my bride. You're the other half of what I am. You're the missing piece. And I love you more than ever. You're the love that doesn't cease. Well, thank you for joining me, friends. Have a great week. Keep exercising forgiveness. Be thankful, be gracious, be kind, be loving. Believe in yourself and in love. Continue to spread a little goodwill to the world and never forget, you are the miracle in someone else's life. Take care.